I'm not going to sit back and pretend this is normal. Because when a marriage starts to crack, it doesn't happen quietly. It happens in whispers, in missing rings, in silent Instagram updates, and in the kind of energy you can feel even through a phone screen. For years, people said Kandi and Todd were solid, strong, unshakable. But if you were paying attention, really paying attention, the signs were blinking like warning lights long before the divorce papers ever hit the headlines. The distance, the late nights, the tension with Mama Joyce, the awkward interviews where Kandi tried to smile through something heavier than she wanted the world to see. And now the truth is slipping out from behind the curtain. Not through some tabloid, not through a leaked document, but straight from Kandi herself, casual words said on a live stream, but heavy enough to shift the entire narrative. Because when a woman reaches that point where she stops protecting the image, stops sugarcoating, stops pretending everything is fine, that's when you know the story is about to change. And that moment, that shift, starts right here. Roll the clip.
Oh my goodness, I only got 15 minutes. Shout out to Cassie. She said she was adding those shades to her cart. Danielle says, how's your mother and Todd getting along? Not great. Let's see. Friday, they did pretty good. The kids, Ace and Blaze, had graduated from their school. So they was doing pretty good. But by the time I got back from my trip the other day, my mom wasn't. She wasn't feeling me again. She wasn't. She was back to not feeling us. So hopefully it'll change.
Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker may have fooled the cameras for years, but let's be honest, anyone with two working eyes could see the cracks forming long before the so-called perfect power couple even hit the decade mark. And now that Kandi has quietly dropped Tucker from her Instagram, stopped wearing her ring, and started moving like a woman who's done carrying dead weight, baby, the streets are talking louder than ever. And the whispers? They're not pretty. If anything, they paint a picture of a man who allegedly knew exactly what he was doing from day one. Because bestie, let's rewind. Todd didn't just fall in love. No. Allegedly, he slid into Kandi's life at the exact moment her fame, her money, her access, and her connections could elevate a man faster than a Bravo storyline. And funny enough, several fans still believe Todd wasn't even checking for Kandi in the beginning. Remember how Fedra had to push him toward Kandi? Like, sir, why does anyone need to shove a man toward a millionaire woman unless he wasn't interested in the first place? Name one man you know who has to be convinced to approach a gorgeous, wealthy, famous woman. Exactly. Make it make sense. But then suddenly, after that South Africa trip where Kandi and Todd started bonding, he went from uninterested crew member to ride-or-die lover? Really? Because according to Mela, the alleged ex, Todd was telling a very different story behind the scenes. And Mela didn't just hint at drama, she spilled the whole pot. She claimed Todd called Kandi a trick, said he didn't like her music, didn't think she could sing, and only complimented her body while shading her face. Like, what? Not Todd, 5'0" Todd, talking about somebody's face. Sir, please be serious. And it didn't stop there. According to her, Todd was allegedly using Kandi as his golden ticket into Atlanta's celebrity circle. While he was supposedly cozying up to Kandi publicly, he was still in Mela's messages telling her he missed her. If this is true, he was playing both sides harder than an NFL wide receiver chasing a last-minute touchdown. But Kandi, being the lover girl she is, gave him the benefit of the doubt. She pushed their relationship forward. She even told him to quit his job so they could be public. And Todd? He didn't hesitate. He dropped that job instantly, like a man who saw a career upgrade and said, "Yes, ma'am. Where do I sign?" And then came the engagement. US Weekly said Riley gave her blessing, but Mama Joyce? Oh, Mama Joyce said absolutely not. She claimed Riley only stayed quiet because she didn't want to upset her mother. And Mama Joyce wasn't impressed with the ring either. Because let's be real, the ring allegedly wasn't what Kandi truly deserved. Of course Kandi defended Todd, but fans were side-eyeing from day one. Then we get to the prenup. Phew. This is where the plot thickens. Kandi drafted a prenup so tight it could cut off circulation. And for good reason, she had a lot to protect. But Todd? He stalled. He resisted. He didn't want to sign. And bestie, anytime a man refuses to sign a prenup, the internet already knows what's up. Mama Joyce called him an opportunist, and honestly, what was the lie? She said Kandi stepped down for him. Meanwhile, Todd claimed, "I provide love, happiness, stability." Okay, sir, but what exactly did you bring to the table besides vibes? Then came the allegations of cheating, the accusations of him being in Carmen's DMs, the mess at the bridal salon, Mama Joyce dragging him in interviews. It was chaos. And Todd's own mother getting into fights with Mama Joyce didn't help. Everything about this was messy. And then, after the marriage finally happened, what did Todd do? He allegedly pulled back. According to Kandi, he shut down intimacy just 6 months in. 6 months. Not 6 years, 6 months. And allegedly because his ego was bruised over the prenup. Like, sir, you signed a paper, not a death sentence. Let's talk about the emotional distance. Todd allegedly felt overshadowed by Kandi's success. Meanwhile, Kandi was carrying the financial load, the fame, the career, the household, everything. But Todd still felt unseen? Make it make sense. When they had Ace and Blaze, Todd allegedly became even more distant. Kandi said he stayed out clubbing 2 nights in a row less than a week after Blaze arrived. Imagine a newborn at home and daddy is in the club until sunlight like he's a 22-year-old promoter. Fans were already raising eyebrows. And then came the New Jersey condo, that mysterious renovation project he just had to stay in every time he went to New York. And who owned that condo with him? An ex. Let that sink in. Kandi admitted she sometimes worried he was cheating. Portia claimed he was allegedly hooking up with women and using the name Marvin. Marvin. Not Todd, Marvin. If a man is allegedly giving out fake names, bestie, that's not landscaping behavior. That's sneaky link behavior. Their marriage eventually felt less like a partnership and more like a business arrangement. And Todd? He claimed he wasn't happy. He said he took on business after business because he felt pressured to impress Kandi, Mama Joyce, even the fans. Meanwhile, Kandi said the intimacy was gone. They tried bringing a third person into the bedroom to fix things, but everybody knows that's a last-ditch attempt to revive a dying connection. It doesn't fix anything. It just adds more confusion, more jealousy, more distance. And then came the real signs. Kandi showing up to BravoCon alone. No ring. No Todd content. Removing his last name from her profile. Fans saying Todd's posts were giving single dad. People noticing Kandi's whole energy shift. And now, those live stream comments from Kandi saying her mom wasn't feeling Todd again. That when she came home, Mama Joyce had gone right back to not liking him, not liking them. You could hear the stress in Kandi's voice. The exhaustion. The weight she's been carrying alone. And that's the thing, Kandi always tried to hold it together. But Todd? From the start, his intentions have always been questioned. And now that everything is falling apart publicly, people are finally acknowledging what they ignored for years. That sometimes the person you build an empire with is the same person who has never invested in you fully. And when you look at the timeline, the ex-drama, the prenup tension, the disinterest, the alleged cheating rumors, the emotional withdrawal, the nightlife escapes, the Marvin allegations, the weird condo situation, the lack of passion, the broken intimacy, it starts painting a picture that was always there. It just took time for the mask to slip. And bestie, allegedly, it has slipped all the way off. And here's the part that really makes people sit up, pause the video, and whisper, oh, so this is what was happening behind the scenes. Because once you start looking closely, everything that felt like a random argument, a tiny disagreement, a marriage issue, suddenly feels like a pattern. And the more you zoom in, the more it looks like Todd allegedly wasn't just slipping. He might have been planning the exit route long before anyone noticed. See, when a man checks out emotionally, physically, mentally, and then starts building a life outside the home, new projects, new investments, new condo renovations in another state, people start connecting dots real quick. And with Todd, fans online swear those dots practically drew themselves. They say he moved like a man who had one foot in Kandi's world and one foot somewhere else, allegedly somewhere he didn't want cameras to follow. Because here's something the fans constantly talk about: the energy shift. In the early years, Todd acted like he worshipped Kandi. Smiling, supportive, always in the background. But slowly, over time, that smile turned into side eyes. Those supportive comments turned into subtle digs. And the background presence? Completely evaporated. Kandi was shining brighter, leveling up, making more money, expanding businesses, and Todd? He always looked a little more annoyed, a little more threatened, a little more resentful. And resentment is a dangerous thing in a marriage, especially when one partner holds all the power. People online say Todd began operating like a man trying to even the playing field, allegedly chasing validation anywhere he could get it. That's where the nightlife came in. The clubs, the late nights, the parties with friends, those weren't just nights out. According to fans, those were escapes. Temporary worlds where he didn't have to live in Kandi's shadow. Temporary places where he could pretend he was the main character. But let's be real for a second. When a grown married man is staying out until sunrise, less than a week after a baby is born, people are going to talk. They're going to speculate. They're going to wonder what exactly is keeping him out all night. And the internet did not hold back. Especially when Portia claimed Todd was allegedly hooking up with women on the side and even giving them a fake name. Marvin. Who cheats under a fake name in 2025? That alone sent social media into a chokehold. And allegedly, Marvin wasn't just a joke, it was a persona. A whole separate identity Todd allegedly used when he wanted to move like a single man. And when fans started connecting Marvin sightings to his New York trips, suddenly that New Jersey condo didn't look like a renovation project, it looked like a hideout spot. A place to be whoever he wanted, away from the cameras, away from Kandi, away from responsibility. Now here's where things get even more suspicious. Kandi admitted she worried about cheating. She admitted she felt disconnected. She admitted she felt like she was losing her husband to something. But what made fans raise their eyebrows wasn't just the distance. It was how unbothered Todd allegedly acted about her concerns. Anytime she brought up his behavior, he flipped it, blaming her schedule, her work ethic, her lifestyle, basically making her feel guilty for being successful. And a man who guilt trips a woman for winning? That's a walking red flag. Fans say Todd was moving like someone who didn't want equality, he wanted control. He wanted Kandi to shrink so he could feel bigger. And when she didn't shrink, he allegedly found other places to feel important. Now, let's talk about Mama Joyce again. Everyone clowned her for years, calling her dramatic, calling her paranoid, calling her messy. But bestie, was she really wrong? Because everything she warned Kandi about, everything she called out on camera, everything she said in interviews, it's giving very much a mother's intuition never fails. She said he was an opportunist. She said he wasn't right for Kandi. She said he would drain her dry and leave her empty. And when you look at the timeline, when you put all the alleged cheating rumors, the emotional withdrawal, the ego issues, the late nights, the Marvin stories, the condo suspicion, the prenup resentment, the intimacy issues, Mama Joyce starts looking less dramatic villain on reality TV and more like the only person who saw the truth. But Kandi wasn't ready to listen. She defended Todd every time. She protected him. She uplifted him. She gave him opportunity after opportunity. She pushed him into businesses, supported his ideas, invested in his dreams. And what did she get in return? Allegedly, less effort, less intimacy, less partnership, less love. The emotional math wasn't matching anymore. And here's something fans keep pointing out. Every time Kandi glowed up, Todd dimmed down. Every time Kandi won, Todd allegedly pulled back. Every time Kandi stepped into a new era, Todd allegedly stepped into a mood. That's not partnership. That's tension disguised as teamwork. But the real breaking point, the moment fans say everything truly snapped, was when Todd allegedly started accusing Kandi of not giving him enough attention. Imagine the mother, the provider, the career woman, the backbone, the builder, the supporter, being told she wasn't doing enough. Meanwhile, the man telling her this is out in the club until 6 a.m.? It's giving tone deaf. It's giving deflection. It's giving, I know I'm guilty, but let me flip this real quick. And then came the therapy sessions. The cameras caught the truth no one wanted to admit. There was no passion left. No spark. No connection. Kandi literally said they weren't even intimate anymore. A whole married couple not touching each other is not a small thing. It's a neon sign screaming, "We're done." Todd blamed her schedule. Kandi blamed his distance. Fans blamed the energy. But deep down, everyone knew. Everyone saw. This wasn't a temporary rough patch. This was a long, slow, painful unraveling. And then, the threesomes. The moment Kandi admitted they brought other women into the bedroom, the internet collectively screamed, "Oh, so this marriage was on life support." Because when you start inviting outsiders into your intimacy just to feel close to your own spouse, baby, that is not a healthy relationship. That is CPR on a corpse. And allegedly, it wasn't even helping. It was making things worse. Fans said Todd looked more excited about the extra company than about Kandi. And Kandi? She looked tired. Exhausted. Someone trying to save something that maybe wasn't meant to be saved. Fast forward to now. Kandi left BravoCon alone. No ring. No husband. No smile. And then she dropped that line in her live stream, the line that made the internet lose its mind. My mom wasn't feeling me again. She was back to not feeling us. Not feeling us. As in the marriage. As in Todd. As in everything falling apart behind the scenes. Bestie, that didn't sound like a woman in a stable marriage. That sounded like someone who's been fighting alone for a long time. And fans believe Todd allegedly checked out way before Kandi admitted anything publicly. They think the man who once needed a push to even notice her may have been mentally gone long before she took off that ring. And if that's true, then maybe, just maybe, this was never the love story Kandi hoped for. Maybe Todd was never the partner she thought he could be. Maybe Mama Joyce was right all along. And maybe the marriage ended the moment Todd allegedly realized Kandi didn't need him, but he needed her. And this is where everything really starts coming together. Because once you step back and look at the full picture, the marriage doesn't just look troubled. It looks like a slow-motion collapse happening in plain sight while everyone pretended not to notice. And strangely enough, the only person who ever called it out without blinking was Mama Joyce. The fans laughed, Kandi got frustrated, Todd got offended, but guess who's looking mysteriously accurate now? The same Mama Joyce everyone said was too much. Because the moment Kandi popped up at BravoCon with no ring, no Todd, no nothing, fans started digging back through old interviews, old episodes, old confessionals, and suddenly, all those awkward moments didn't look so harmless anymore. They looked like breadcrumbs. Little signals Kandi dropped without realizing she was telling the world her marriage was cracking. And the wild part? People online say the real downfall didn't start with cheating rumors or prenup fights. No, they believe the real crash began when Todd realized Kandi would always outshine him, always outwork him, always out-earn him. That kind of imbalance either grows a man or it breaks him. And allegedly, in Todd's case, it broke him, slowly, quietly, until he slipped into a version of himself even Kandi didn't recognize. Let's talk about the ego shift for a second. Fans swear there was a time when Todd was proud of Kandi's success. But over the years, that pride allegedly shifted into resentment. Anytime Kandi landed a new deal, expanded a business, wrote a song, booked a role, Todd allegedly started acting irritated. Not supportive. Not excited. Just bothered. Like her success was taking something away from him. And that's when you start seeing his pattern of escapes. The New Jersey trips. The club nights. The sudden friend groups that popped up out of nowhere. The business ventures that didn't feel like business as much as reasons not to come home. Even Kandi, on camera, admitted she felt like he was always gone, always leaving her to handle kids, work, and home by herself. Fans kept saying it. Todd moves like a man who loves the benefits, but not the responsibilities. And honestly, the timeline supports that narrative a little too well. Then you add the alleged Marvin situation on top of it? Baby. The internet practically made a documentary off that one rumor alone. Because it wasn't just that he allegedly used a fake name, it was that the name became a symbol. A meme. A red flag wrapped in comedy. People started calling him Marvin Tucker online every time he posted something suspicious. Even his comment sections got messy. And Kandi noticed. You can always tell when a woman notices her marriage becoming an online joke. Her tone changed. Her patience thinned. She became quieter when Todd's name came up. She didn't defend him as passionately. She didn't smile the same when talking about their relationship. But here's where the story reaches its emotional core: the kids. People forget this, but motherhood changes everything. Kandi has always been a protector, a provider, a builder. And once Ace and Blaze entered the picture, she wasn't just thinking about herself anymore. She was thinking about the kind of home they were growing up in. And fans swear that once Kandi realized she was carrying the load alone, something inside her shifted. There's a clip fans circulate it constantly, where Kandi says Todd felt disconnected from their daughter because she was born by a surrogate. And while people understand that bonding can be complicated, the concerning part wasn't the admission. It was Todd's solution. Instead of leaning into family, instead of spending time, instead of adjusting, he allegedly escaped. Went out. Stayed gone. Clubbed. Deflected. Blamed Kandi's schedule. And for a woman, that's the beginning of the end. When the father of your child checks out emotionally, the relationship isn't just cracked, it's collapsing. Then came the therapy moment, where Kandi said the intimacy was dead, where Todd said he felt unseen. That entire exchange felt less like a couple fixing things and more like two people describing why they stopped trying years ago. The fans kept saying it. This doesn't look like repair. This looks like a divorce waiting to happen. Now add the threesome attempts. Baby, listen. Any couple that brings another person into the bedroom to fix something is already screaming for help. And the fact that Kandi admitted they did it recently, that didn't reassure fans, it worried them. Because when you're trying to revive intimacy with jump cables instead of emotional connection, the marriage is already on life support. Which brings us to the final unraveling. The quiet distancing. The missing posts. The solo appearances. The husband nowhere in sight. Kandi dropping the last name. Todd posting like a single dad. Fans reading between the lines like they were studying for finals. But the true blow, the line that made everyone gasp, happened during Kandi's live when someone asked, "How's your mother and Todd getting along?" Kandi didn't even hesitate. "Not great. By the time I got back from my trip, my mom wasn't feeling me again. She was back to not feeling us." US. Not feeling us. Meaning the marriage. The couple. The partnership. That was the real moment fans knew. This wasn't a rumor anymore. This was a breakup unfolding in real time. Mama Joyce wasn't just not feeling Todd, she wasn't feeling the entire relationship. Because she knew something was wrong. She always knew. And now the internet believes the same thing, that Kandi tried. Tried harder than she should have. Tried longer than she needed to. Tried because she wanted the family to work, because she didn't want another heartbreak, because she didn't want Mama Joyce to be right. But sometimes, moms are right. Annoyingly, frustratingly, undeniably right. And Todd? Allegedly, he played himself. Because no matter how much distance he created, no matter how many nights he spent out, no matter how separate he acted, Kandi still carried him. Protected him. Defended him. And he still allegedly drifted further away. And now that she's pulling back? Now that she's silent, ringless, independent, moving different? Fans believe Todd is suddenly realizing what happens when the woman holding everything together finally lets go. Because the truth is simple. Kandi doesn't need him. She never did. And maybe the biggest plot twist of all is that Todd allegedly knew that and resented her for it. And when resentment becomes routine, love becomes labor. Marriage becomes negotiation. Distance becomes default. And the end becomes inevitable. So here we are. The picture's gone. The ring gone. The name gone. The patience gone. And according to fans, Todd might be next. Because once Kandi Burruss removes you from her life, baby, she doesn't go back. She upgrades. Besties, if you made it all the way to the end of this chaos-packed saga, then one thing is crystal clear. You live for the tea just as much as I do. And baby, trust me, this story is far from over. The streets are whispering, the bloggers are typing, and Todd is out here moving like a man who forgot people can see his Instagram activity. So don't you dare miss what's coming next. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button like Todd hits the nightlife 2 days after a newborn. Turn on all notifications because the next update, oh, it's going to be so messy you're gonna need gloves. And while you're here, drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Todd was ever really locked in, or was this whole marriage just his VIP pass into Kandi's world? And listen, don't be shy with the likes. Smash that like button the same way Mama Joyce smashes any hope Todd has of redemption. Your likes tell me you want more tea, more breakdowns, more receipts, and trust me, I have a whole pot brewing. Subscribe, comment, like. Because this roller coaster is just getting started, bestie, and you don't want to fall off now.